Good morning, COVIDians. I am at last back. I was banned for a week for a piece of satire. Apparently, even though, in brackets, it said satire on the title to the video, that wasn't good enough. It was taken seriously, and I was banned for a week from making any more videos for medical misinformation. Well, apologies YouTube, I'm back again, and I've had my strike, and this is me, nothing to do with satire or taking the mick. So, how are we enjoying our freedom now that you don't have to wear masks? Yep. How are we enjoying it? Are we happy that we can go anywhere we like? Well, pretty much anywhere we like, because there are exceptions, and I don't want YouTube banning me again for wrong medical information. Yeah. But we know you don't have to wear them in shops. What are you seeing, by the way? I'm still seeing quite a few people wearing them in shops when we've been out shopping, so I'm quite pleased about that. Maybe, just maybe, the British public are a little more responsible and sensible than I thought. I doubt it, in all honesty, but hey. Right, on to what's been happening in that week. Got a bit of a runny nose this morning. Not COVID, I'm sure. Yep. But down to what's been happening in the week that I have been off. The RNLI, abused by the likes of Farage and everything, and called things like an immigrant taxi service. Well, one good thing that's come out of that, and out of all the screamers at the on the beaches, at the lifeboat stations, at the sheds when these people have been landing, having been rescued from drowning and dying by our brave volunteers in the RNLI, one good thing that has happened is, I think I read somewhere that donations to the RNLI had gone up by something like 3,000%. Can you actually have 3,000%? I'm not very good with maths, so some maths expert, can you just comment below? Is 3,000% possible? But whatever is possible or is not possible, fantastic. I am unbelievably happy that this has happened. Yep. Obviously, the RNLI is set up as a humanitarian organisation. Its aim is to save life at sea or in the water or kind of anywhere that it is called to. And I have to say, I am absolutely 100% convinced, even if the new bill that's going to go through restricting our freedom to protest and everything, yeah, I would call that new bill the equivalent of the Nazi Enabling Act, yeah. Even if it does go through, I'm sure that the RNLI and others, decent human beings, even skippers and crew on other craft, will still rescue people drowning at sea. I'm absolutely convinced they will. Let me just remind people of something, by the way, as well. If you look at the history of the war at sea, if you look at the history of the Atlantic convoys, the convoys to Russia, Murmansk and stuff like that, if you look at even the history of that war fought in the Mediterranean, across the seas of the world, even when our Royal Navy our destroyers, our aircraft carriers and whatever, had sunk enemy ships, when they had been sunk and were on their way to the bottom, we still rescued enemy survivors. We picked them out of the water. We took them prisoner, yes. We still regarded them as enemy combatants. But once their ship had sunk, where we could, obviously there were occasions where it would not have been safe for us to do so, because the enemy might send round a U-boat or whatever and sink us as we were rescuing their survivors. Yep. But where we could safely do so, we still rescued survivors, people in the sea in danger of freezing to death or drowning. Yeah. So just what kind of human being do you have to be to think that you will just leave these people to drown? What kind of person is Pretty Nasty Patel? What kind of a person is she? What evil presence? What evil personality? What an evil little person. And I do use the word little because apparently she has to stand on a podium when making speeches because she's not very tall. Now, I say that as a bit of a midget, a bit of a hobbit myself. Yeah, I am not totally short, but compared to the average man, yeah, I am a shorter man. Yeah, I regard myself as hobbit-sized. I live with my wife Sharon in a hobbit burrow. This is a house made for hobbits like me. So there's your inhumanity, folks. There it is. There's your inhumanity. There's your what we got coming up next. Oh yeah, the policing bill. Look at this next one that's been going on. Yeah, you wait for it. 14 years in prison for a journalist speaking out of turn or telling the truth about the government. 14 years in prison. Can somebody really just explain, why isn't this like being in Nazi Germany? Why? What's different? Somebody said, and I think it was really well said, what would it have been like if we had lost the Second World War? You know, if the Nazis and the Axis powers, if they had won, what would Britain have been like under Nazi occupation? And this person added, well, to get some idea, just look around you now. Look around at what Britain is like now. Look around at protests, or even, as you know, if you go outside number 10 and make a noise with a gong, a trumpet, or something like that, you can be arrested and probably spend longer in prison for that single or multi-person protest than somebody would get having raped a woman. We live in terrifying times. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah? It is terrifying. I mean, okay, I got a week's ban from YouTube for a bit of satire, yeah? But it could well be that somebody like me makes a video, even like this, and some person in authority takes offence at it, doesn't like it, thinks I'm violating some particular code or rule or something. And the next thing, the police will knock in at my door, I get arrested, and who knows? Perhaps I could spend 15, 16 years inside. Yeah? That's the society we're living in. Those are the Nazis, the fascists that you have voted for. Yeah? As for Keir Starmer, well, still no opposition at all. I would not vote for the Labour Party because he has betrayed and abused and thrown out decent socialists within the party. He's accused us of things like anti-Semitism, which is completely untrue, and he's done everything to rid the party of the socialists and the activists who were its core and who were what Labour has always been about. Mr. Keir Starmer is on the side of the establishment. Mr. Keir Starmer does not speak up for workers and our rights and the labour movement. No, Mr. Keir Starmer speaks up for the rich, ruling class, the elite, and he is happy to be no more than a watered-down Tory. Anyway, folks, I am off. Be about 12 minutes or so. If you got any comments, please just write them in the comments. As I say, still supporting the RNLI. I think that's one of the most terrible things I have heard. Yeah, absolutely terrible. And we live in Great Yarmouth, Galston, so who knows, might even get a ride out on the bike later on today. And we'll go past the RNLI lifeboat station. If I've got a few pennies in my pocket, I'll see if we can put them in their collecting box at the station. Have a great day, folks, and you take care out there, okay? I personally would say keep those masks on, okay? Bye.